Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to welcome everyone to our Spotlight series. This is meant to be a faculty resource for us to be able to share information on how we can support all of our students in their success and their well-being. So I would like to introduce today's speaker, Miss Allison Dinsmore. Allison has been in the higher ed environment for over 14 years. She joined our USF system in 2015. And in 2021, we were lucky enough to have her transition to our St. Pete campus. So her current role at USF St. Pete is the Associate Director of Student Accessibility Services, where she supports all of our students in the full spectrum of accessibility needs. She will be talking today about how her services can help support our faculty. Allison, I will turn it over to you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Anita, and thanks everyone for joining. We'll be talking today about how faculty can increase access in their classes to empower their students to be successful. So during our time together today, we're going to cover the following items. We'll talk a little bit about the Student Accessibility Services overview. We'll talk a little bit about common accommodations that we provide to students. We'll talk a little bit about the general overview of how students get set up with services in our office and how faculty can make referrals to our office, as well as how faculty can increase access in their classes. We'll follow up with next steps and some contact information in the event that you have specific questions that you'd like to connect with our office about. So let's get into it. So a general overview of the Student Accessibility Services Office. We provide academic accommodations to students with disabilities at USF. The federal laws, such as the Americans with Disabilities Act and Section 504, require that we provide reasonable accommodations. USF has created Policy 0-108 that sets up the SAS office as the entity at USF to establish accommodations for students. Each student has their own point of contact within the SAS office who gets to know that student and their needs specifically. If faculty have questions about how to support a student, it's best to look at their point of contact for the office that is listed on their accommodation letter. Let's talk about some common accommodations. Accommodations provide access to courses and do not provide an advantage. Accommodations are tailored specifically to a student and their disability and how it impacts their learning. Some common classroom accommodations include audio recording your lectures and student discussions, receiving PowerPoint presentations from faculty, preferential seating in the classroom, accessible furniture, and the use of technology for taking notes. There are some common testing accommodations that we provide, such as extended time, use of a computer for writing essays or short responses, Scantron assistance, and testing in a distraction-reduced testing environment. For a student to receive accommodations at SAS, they must complete an online application to request their accommodations. They must provide documentation about their disability that supports their request. The student must meet with their SAS point of contact to establish accommodations and have those approved. We also discuss with students how to use those accommodations during that meeting. Once SAS approves accommodations for a student must self-identify their accommodations to their professors by providing their accommodation letter. There are a lot of times when students will talk and ask their professors for accommodations, but they do not have an official accommodation letter. As a faculty member who is directly engaging with students, you receive a lot of information about what these students are navigating in their lives. You might be a great conduit to connect these students to resources on campus that they may not know about. So, when should you refer students to our office? There's going to be times when students are going to ask you to make up work or to receive extensions due to medical issues or mental health complications. You may also notice that they are not finishing exams in the allotted time, or they might disclose that they had an IEP or a 504 plan in high school where they were receiving a lot of additional support in order to be successful. If a student discloses these things, the best thing to do is to ask how you can support them. If they're not sure what they need, you have an opportunity to refer the student to a campus resource to support them. Make sure that you're speaking in a confidential setting, and if that's not possible, ask if they can wait to get some privacy, or ask if they can schedule an appointment to connect with you with a more confidential manner. Make sure that you share all of the campus resources, including SAS, as we all work together to support our students. The Division of Student Success and Undergraduate Studies has created an emergency guide in the form of a red folder that contains all of the campus resources and their contact information. And if a student is absent a lot, it's a great opportunity to reach out and ask how you can best support them. This might be connecting them to some of these resources on that folder. Faculty can also naturally increase access in their courses. First, you can make sure that you are providing the approved accommodations by reading your accommodation letters that you've received from students in their entirety. Accommodations such as PowerPoint slides that are accessible to students with disabilities are good strategies that you can expand to other students in your classes to support all of their success. Since accommodations do not provide any advantage to your course, faculty can alter their course structure to provide some similar accommodations to the rest of their students. Some other examples of that is flexibility. Turning in assignments with some deadline extensions or not penalizing students if they're not attending courses are some ways that you can provide flexibility. These are practices that we have found to be rooted in academic rigor that we unintentionally created in academia. If the learning outcomes to learn a specific component in the semester is not impacted by a short delay, there should not be a problem with providing that to all of our students. I urge faculty to reflect on their learning outcomes of the course and to determine if the learning outcome is impacted by receiving that flexibility. The SAS office is also available to provide consult and discussion in determining that. This also provides the faculty member a pivotal moment to connect with students and to see if they need additional resources. I challenge faculty to be bold and believe their students when they express issues impacting their lives and impacting getting coursework done. A pedagogy of kindness, if you will, where we can apply compassion to every situation that we can and not default to suspicion with our students. This will provide us an opportunity to focus on providing kindness to our students and demonstrating that we care about their learning and their success here at USF. You can also incorporate universal design of learning strategies in your courses. The SAS office has additional resources on our website about additional trainings and online tutorials to make your courses more accessible. There are other offices on campus to support faculty with universal design of learning strategies, such as Innovative Education and the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning. They provide phenomenal resources for faculty. They also offer programs and events throughout the semester. They also offer one-on-one support directly to faculty. Another resource on campus is the You Matter program at USF St. Pete that provides a post-secondary experience for students with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And they also provide resources to faculty on how to implement universal design of learning strategies to support their students. Please reach out to SAS if you have specific questions about students or your courses and how to make them more accessible. Thanks.